Money is abstracted energy. Money is abstracted oxygen, is abstracted blood. How much of the collective blood flow do I control? How many breathing bodies can I make breathe to my frequency? How much money should any individual possess? How much money should any community possess? How much money should be distributed throughout the system? Money has been used as the great numerical magic. Ever since there have been people who have been able to count and others who have not. Money has been used to manipulate, to confuse. The power of numbers is that they are imaginary. And with that imagination, new trances can be spun, making people believe through equations that the equations are more real than matter itself, and then transform that matter through those equations. The deep sickness at the core of money is usury, making people pay to possess money. A double bind of hoarding and giving only to receive more. Hoard the energy, hoard the energy, hoard the energy. Pass it down the bloodlines, and only my bloodlines, not the collective bloodline, but my line. Make sure that not a cent is lost. I keep as much as possible. And in that way, my numerical empire may continue. And my great energetic empire will continue as long as possible.
Earth, iron, soil, fungi, lives, plants is on the other side of the equation. There is no money without exploitation, no hoarding of money without exploitation. For every cent that we put into our books, be it on the plus or on the minus side, there needs to be work put in. And this work needs to exploit the resources, for there is no human being working, wanting to earn money that does not need to feed themselves. We split the systems that we account for in order to externalize the costs into the other systems, and then we pretend that they're not there. We pretend this system has an equal balance, while on the outside, we're making and creating debt. We're proud of this equation being so rich and so plentiful, while being blind for the debt that we're creating on the outside, the coal mines, the cobalt mines, and the diamond mines, in the darkness of the people which we do not see. The algorithm that we created, that this thing that we used to decipher our transactions in a way and make them easy across longer distances, The algorithm that we invented is magic. It's hilarious. How can a thing create itself? And while creating itself, create even more of itself? Isn't that interesting? Interest, creating more interest, creating more of this virtual thing on the one side of the balance, while creating the need for exploitation on the other side in order to have a zero-sum game in the overall thing. No energy can be created. Energy always stays the same, but money accumulates it virtually through interest rates on the one side of the balance, therefore making it necessary for us to exploit the other side, while at the same time neglecting the equation of the larger system.
We need less interest and more interest. The time for all to rest as much as they need and not just be given a little sleep according to the regimen of the calendar. The calendar which remains so invisible, so much it has become a part of our lives that we no longer feel anymore how it defines our lives. The work day and the 9 to 5. Who has free time? Who has free energy? Accumulate, 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 accumulate. Whose pile is the largest? Too afraid to go to war, the magicians weave numbers, a net of numbers, and control their empires through the numerals. The numbers and the letters that prevent us from seeing the world. The symbols that mark the territory and say, this belongs to me. And from there, the separation. All need their corner of the earth, all need their parcel of the garden. But through the perpetual territorialization of experience, we remain in a perpetual state of terror, can never relax enough to see the garden for what it truly is. Infinite potential. If we care for the garden, then all shall be fed. This is the kingdom of heaven. But when the garden is gated, so some may orgy, so some may gorge themselves until they throw up in the vomitorium, whilst the slaves starve, and the slaves fight for the scraps. Oh, a bone fell off the table. Maybe if I'm quick, I'll get it before the dog does.
Tending the garden. How far away from this we are. Jeff Bezos, how far away from this we are. Breathed in the resources, the life, the rainforest, the birds, the bees, the water. Breathed in the water, for centuries, for decades into our bank accounts. Until the earth is dry, until we have 60 more harvests to come, until the soil is dead. We accumulated a bubble of nothingness into virtual bank accounts of nothing, creating more of nothing and more of the necessity to strip even more. How much time do we have? Free time? How much free resources do we have? If we count this against the balance of what we have virtually created, there is nothing left. So we need to let go collectively. Breathe out all that virtual nothingness, this illusion of somethingness back into life. In the interest of all the peoples, the stone people, the ant people, the fungi people, the tree people, the bird people, the cloud people, the ocean, the drops of water, and give it back. Let go, breathe out, let flow, come back. Feed it back into the soil. Redistribute. And find another way to trade, and find another way to exchange, and find another way to care, and to thank, and to value, and to appreciate. Coming to something that is actually appreciation of life and not of possession and wealth and profit. Life and relations.
Every year a new turn of the wheel. First the feast, where the wealth of the year is shared amongst all, and all can eat. All can be nourished and find their satiation. Feast on food, feast on love, feast on community. And then the burn, where the excess wealth is returned to the fire, and the old currency is melted down and reforged into a new coin. And then from that freshness, from those ashes, the spin can begin once more. The game can begin once more of seeing who will generate the most for the all. Who will generate the most true fruit, not false fruits of numbers and letters. When you bite into them, there is no core. But who will take the potential of this year and transmute it into its greatest form? Then we can have a competition. Then we can have a hierarchy. Who shall be the winner of winning for all? And then once more, dissolve everything. Return it all to the feast. Return it all to the burn. And begin the spin once more. Begin the next turn of the wheel.
New year, new luck, new game we play, new trying for the best that we all can achieve together for the whole, for the ants and the birds. What about the stock exchange? What about the shareholder value? What about the hedge funds? What about the investors that want to get something out of that? What about them? What about this system? How can we crumble this? How can we decompose that system? Starting other exchange systems below the radar? Dance with alternative complementary currencies and only exchange where necessary? Go to the shop next door and say, hey, we've got this system running. Are you willing to participate in what we have locally and maybe virtually? To come dance with us? What do you need? Be that the question, what do we need? Not what do we want? Not what can we achieve? Not how much can we exploit and accumulate, but what do we really need? Is touch, is a glance into each other's eyes, is a hug. And good food, yes, but that shall not be the problem. Dignity, currency based on dignity of all beings. Currency that loses its value the longer it is accumulated. A current sea in which we can bathe together. And making sure that we are able to respect the boundaries of the system in which we live, which is a planet that has its limits, which is not made for limitless growth. Switch from the growth of quantity of something in your bank account to the quality of your relations, a currency that contributes to the quality of relations.